Good morning, sweet children. Today is January 15th, 2021, and this is how you should recap every single trading week that you have, especially if you're new. You should always be going through the end of your trading week and at least take like a moment, set a little bit of time aside to go over the trades you took, understand why you took them. If there were losers, you should try to identify how you could have made a more profitable trade scenario, meaning figured out, hey, could I have made these losers a little bit smaller? Could I have made them a break even? Could I have even gotten out maybe small profit or something like that? Then you want to take a look at your winners, and you want to see how you could have made a more profitable trade scenario potentially with the winners as well. Try to extend your profit targets. So I'm going to show you a very simple way that you can do this literally right here in this video. All I ask you to do is just hit the like button on the video. That's literally it. Hit the like button right now. Without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to go in here into my transaction history. Here on I just do mine through Oanda here since I trade. I started this account at 6K at the beginning of the month, so it was like 15 days ago. At 40K, and we're up about maybe 6,800 right now. I'm trying to grow it to 80K within 2 months, so let's see how that goes. I'm gonna go to transaction history right here. I'll go to the first trade that I took, which was it was this right here, AED USD. So again, I called all these trades out for free in my free Telegram channel, which you can get access to by just hitting the link in the description of this video, doing my free trading, and at the end of the free trading, you can click a link that will give you access to the free Telegram channel. So just do that if you're trying to join. I literally call out, all these trades for free, full analysis, the moment I enter, stop loss, take profit, everything. So this was all called live. Those of you who are in Telegram know that. So AED USD, I called this out right here. And it was a stop out. So let's go and look and see what happened here. So price was in an uptrend on the 4-hour and daily charts. Price had been making some lower market structure, so lower lows, lower highs. Then price came to this zone right here, broke this support level, came up, retested, did not reject, instead broke back above, started testing it as support. So I thought that this might be the area where price might start continuing up. And it ended up being right, but I took a stop out right before the move began. Literally, the stop out happened to the pip. These types of things are unavoidable unless you trade with really wide stop losses. I just personally found that what works better for me is just having a lot better risk reward. If price did make a higher high on this on the H4, it would have been like a 1 to 23 risk reward ratio. So I'm fine with it. It's a tiny loss, and if it's not a tiny loss, it's usually a huge winner, as we'll see here on GJ in a second. So that one stopped out. And then price ended up going. So then price had another setup here that next morning. Price broke the recent highs, came back and retested right here and started to bounce. So as price started to retest this zone and bounce, I entered a second buy as a second try, broke above, retested, bounce, came back, started to bounce again and go up. So I entered after that second bounce right there. And this one resulted in a loss as well. Price actually just plummeted back below the level, only to frustratingly go back above the level, retest, and then start bouncing up, and then ended up going into even more profit. So yeah, this was my second stop out of the week. So then we had another trade here. You'll see it was GBP-JPY. I closed $500, which is a portion of a position on GJ. So we're going to go and look at that position right here. We'll go to GJ right here on the chart, and we'll look at this position. So I called this out whenever it was. I think it was Monday. So yeah, January 12th, wherever it was. So on this position right here, price has been in an overall H4 and daily uptrend. No matter how far out you go, it's kind of hard to argue that GJ is not in an uptrend. It's in a really big uptrend. So I was just looking to focus on buys for the H1. So that was literally it. So price had went, sort of bounced along a trend line, started going up. That was good. Started breaking more intermediate levels on the lower time frames, like the minute 15 and minute 30. And so I didn't get an entry here after it broke and retested this area, but I did get an entry up here. This happened, I believe, during Asian session or something. When did that happen? Yeah, it happened during like Asian session, midway through the purple. So what happened right here is price just broke above the recent highs, came back, retested, and then it started to go up, started to bounce. So I entered a buy right there, called it in Telegram, and I had a stop loss just below the zone and a target way up here at this next daily high. So the daily high is just up here. It's just like a daily resistance zone. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. All right, well, if you scroll back on your chart, GJ to the daily, that's what this zone is, 142.5. It's the daily zone. So what happened is price ended up going into profit overnight, it had a huge spike up, and then whenever price got up into here, I peeled out some profits and moved the stop loss to break even. This first portion of the position that I peeled out was $500 of profit. So then as we go, I'll cover all these trades in a second. Let me just finish up GJ here just so we know. The second position on GJ I closed for $2,000, and I closed that right up here after price had gone and made a new high. So price broke and retested this high, and I woke up the next morning. So this would have been like 2 days after the initial entry. And price had made a new high up here. And so I saw, okay, price has pushed into even more profit. At this point, I think it was like a 1 to 20 risk reward ratio. The risk is like microscopic on these trades. It's like $200 per trade. And so for right here, the trade was up like almost $4,000 in total. And so right there, I closed another portion of the position, which was that $2,000 that got closed right there. So I closed that. And then finally what had happened here is this last position on GBP/JPY for $1,000. I closed after price broke below this level and closed. And you can see, I guess it was at what, 141.93. So 141.93. So yeah, like right in there as it broke below the support resistance area. I was like, all right, might be a good time to close GJ now. So I closed it, ended up coming down, then it came back up, found some more resistance, failed to break the highs, and now GJ has since sold off to the daily zone where I'm now looking for buys. But that is for next week's analysis video. So we'll save that for then. I'll make a video on that. But that was the whole GJ scenario. So GJ, I made like 3,500 this week on it, just from those trades. I think it was like 3,500 or something like that. So that's GJ. So those, I've shared the first two AUD USD trades, and then we have this break-even trade on AUD JPY where I made a grand total of $27. So let's have a quick look at that. AUD JPY, much like GJ, was in an overall daily and H4 uptrend. I've gotten a lot of good trades on AUD JPY like the past couple weeks. I've had this right here, I've had this right here, and then I had this one here, which was a break even. But overall, price is just in an uptrend, so I was looking for buys. So price had come and found some support along this level right here. We had price, form a support level, tried to break below it, failed, broke back above and tested and started bouncing. And so I tried to find an entry in here, but personally, in my opinion, price didn't come low enough into the support level and then leave a wick. So I decided to wait for price to push lower, which it never did. Instead, price broke above this zone, came back, tested, and started to bounce right here. So I entered a buy right here after price tested this zone and bounced. This was just a simple break and retest of this horizontal zone within an uptrend. And what happened is price went up to this previous high, tried to break past it, and then it failed to break past this zone, and then came back down below it. So I was waiting for price to get to this previous high before even scaling out in any profits. This was in I think it was like $600 or $700 profit. It came back around here, close to the entry, spiked up again, and then it came back down and then hit the break-even stop loss that I set. Did not scale any profits on this. So yeah, I like to wait for it to go into like some good profit, like 1 to 5, 1 to 10, before I start trying to take out any of the position. Otherwise, if you're scaling out at a 1 to 1, you'd be scaling out half the position, maybe for like half the profits, but then on your trades that hit the stop loss, they'll be hitting the stop loss at the full stop loss amount, which is like more than your winner. So I just like to wait for trades to go into like good profits before starting to scale out. No matter what type of trade I'm taking it, that's typically the case. And so for this case, yeah, price bounced up, came back here. I just had the stop loss to break even to protect the position after it broke the previous high. If this thing was going to continue up, it should have done it right here and it should have just kept going up. But instead, did not find any buyer's momentum, broke back in, hit the stop loss at break even. So that was a break even trade. It was managed appropriately. Price then ended up going up afterwards, found resistance at the previous high where I would have been scaling out positions and then moving stops to break even anyway. So even if I, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? Even if I'd stayed in this somehow and didn't get stopped out, the rest of the position would have come and hit break even during London's session early this morning. And then I would have had like a portion of the position scaled out. So I probably would have made like a couple $100 and it's maybe like $500 or something like that. And the rest would have hit break even. So that's that. So that's AUD JPY. Trade was managed fine. Everything is good. Then we have this right here, a third stop out on AUD USD. So let's head back to AUD USD. And as you can see, I had this third position right here. So price ended up, we had this first stop out, came up, break and retest, had second stop out, still went up anyway. And then for the third time, I tried this thing 3 times in a row. We had a break and retest. We had some rejection. Price started bouncing along this zone. And then what happened is after I entered about an hour later, price just flashed down, hit the stop loss. Then it came right back up, found some support, and ended up taking off and cracking the next high. So yeah, I got stopped out on this. It stopped me out and then ended up going. So that's the frustrating part about trading is even if you get the move right? I was correct about the direction all week on AUD USD. Due to technical reasons, the trade just got stopped out 3 times in a row. So that was that loss right there. But it's okay as long as you've got really good risk reward ratios, because then you'll have trades like GJ which just like, I mean, you enter and they just take off insane. I mean, come on, like a 1 to 20 risk reward at its max profit. Like I think in total I scaled out about 17.5 units of profit. So even though it hit a 1 to 20 risk reward, obviously some was scaled out along the way. So I think it was like 1 to 17 risk reward is the amount of profit I peeled off of it. And if you wait for those trades, this is like my only real winner this week. You know, I've had 3 losses this week on AU, 2 stop outs. 2 break evens on AUDJPY, and then also USDCHF, which we'll cover right now, which is the last one. And then 1 huge winner on GJ. So that means I won 1 out of 6 trades this week. That's it. 2 break evens, 3 stop outs, and 1 huge winner. And the week is still in profit, like 3K or something like that. So yeah, that's just the reality of trading. So even if you've got like a really low win rate, as long as your profits are huge compared to your losers, you'll still be fine. That just seems to have worked really well for me. It's something I've been testing the past 2 months, and it's something I've implemented in my trading system. So let's cover this last trade right here. USDCHF, I made a $63 on this trade. So USDCHF was in an overall downtrend. If you go out to like the daily and the H4 and the H1, it's kind of hard to not say it's in a downtrend. If we just keep going out, price has just been moving downwards forever. It's been an amazing pair for sells this week, for these past few months. So right here, we had price come and reject this H4 resistance zone. So price rejecting the resistance zones. Then we had price come break and retest this horizontal zone right here. So I called this trade out live in Telegram, just like everything else. It started to reject the zone, and then so I entered after it started to reject the zone. So I entered here, my stop loss was just above the zone, and then here's what happened. Price had a push into profit, came back up, tested the zone, had another bigger push into profit, came back up, had a liquidity spike a little bit past the entry, went back into profit, then spiked up again, and then started going sideways. So typically when you see stuff like this, whenever you see price just like channeling upwards, and it's it's not taking off easily, you have a lot of buyers still trying to come into the market. What that typically means is if a level is getting tested over and over again, it probably means something weird is going to happen. There's either going to be a liquidity spike like this that ended up happening, or price is just going to break out of the zone and just continue up altogether, into like a new trend or something. So in this case, I said that it'd probably be best to just close the trade at break even, since it wasn't going into profit easy. Because I mean, if you're right about these trades, like if price is going to go up, right, it's going to come, it's going to hit the level, it's going to reject, and then after, breaks the previous high, tests it, starts to bounce, it'll just go up from there. It's not going to screw around and go sideways. That's what this did. So in most cases, usually price will end up either stopping you out or just doing something weird before it goes into profit. So with this, I ended up just opting to just get out of the trade at break even. So I made like $63 on it, but still, prevented a loser. So that was that. That was all these trades this week. Again, 6 trades, 3 losses, 2 break evens, and only 1 winner. But it was still a profitable week with 1,000 plus 2,000 plus 500. So like 3,500 secured on GJ, minus plus a little bit of the profits from the break even, minus $600 a loss from AU. It's like it's like roughly a 3K week. So again, taking this account from 40K to 80K, trying to do it in like 2 months maybe. We'll see what happens. We're about 2 weeks into it. It's up about 7K. And then eventually we'll have the big winners come along as well that are huge. And there's no open trades. I don't have any positions open on this account right now. So that's that. That's a recap of this week's trades. I've already recapped myself. I've asked myself, could I have had more profitable trade scenarios? There's nothing I would have done different this week. I would not have had my stop losses wider on AUDJPY or AUDUSD because it significantly kills the risk reward. Like just for example, let's say you're risking $1,000 per trade on this, right? And you have your stop loss like below here. So now if it makes a higher high, you'll make $12,000 if it hits the profit target at the full profit. But if you have your stop loss just below the zone and then it's a 1 to 24 risk reward, the risk reward is double. It's like double the potential profits if you have your stop loss right there and it's very precise and tight at the zone. And so for instance, instead of making potentially 12K, you now have the potential to make like 24K. That's like double that. Same thing on GJ. Like some people were like, Nick, why was your stop loss so short? Well, the stop loss was so short because if we go here and just really like pinpoint the zone in the lower time frames, you'll see that GJ broke above this zone, broke back below for a second, found some resistance, but then broke back above and tested and started to bounce. So there was that alongside like a little bit of some higher lows forming that were just going up. And so this break and retest here, I just decided, hey, look, if this is the level that price is going to respect, it should respect it and bounce, and it shouldn't break below it. And if it breaks below it, I want to be out. So that's why the stop loss was so tight, literally like just below that zone at 140 point, pretty much 140.9. Now I'm going to give you an example on this, on how like, risk rewards can affect your trading as well. Because for a long time I just traded with like 1 to 2, 1 to 3 risk rewards, even 1 to 1 in some cases, and I was still profitable. But I mean, I had to risk like 1% of my capital, which is like 4 to 5 grand per trade. And on the months I was making like 20, 30, 40K a month on profitable months. However, sometimes I'd have losses, like 2 or 3 losses in a row is like 15K just gone. But then the profits make up for it. But it's like you have to be really selective in your trades. With this, I'm risking significantly more and making almost the same amount of money I was risking like 5K per trade with a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. Let me give you an example. If I closed all profits right here, let's just say it was like a 1 to 20 risk reward. If my stop loss was like lower down here, the risk reward is now pretty much split in half almost. So if you use like a wider stop loss, it's fine. You'll probably have more winners, like a higher win rate, but your profitability, you might consider inspecting that and asking if the profitability would be lower or higher. Because even with like a lower win rate, with a higher risk reward, as long as you are having, a decent win rate, profit targets hit, like, you'll still be profitable as long as your winners significantly outweigh your losers. So for this right here, having a stop loss just below the zone that I think price is going to hold at, it allows you to get these really good risk rewards if you're able to pinpoint the zone, know exactly where you're entering, why you're entering, what trend everything's in. It really allows you to sort of pinpoint those and just keeps things a lot safer. So yeah, that was GJ. So GJ ended up going really good. I'm still looking for buys. I'll share this in a separate video. I'm actually thinking price might be bouncing right here. But that was a recap of my trading week. You should do the same thing for your trading weeks always, to always try to see what you can learn and try to see what what you can do better. And that's how we keep growing as traders, right? I continue to learn more and more stuff in my personal trading every day, and you should too. So if you like this video, hit the like button, please. It really supports the channel. Consider subscribing if you're not already. I think like half of you who are watching my videos are not even subscribed. What the hell? Click the subscribe button. Hit the bell if you really want to. And then if you are not in my free training and you're not in my free Telegram channel where I'm literally calling these trades live, showing everything, full transparency, hit the link in the description of this video. Watch my free training video. It's like 30 minutes long, teaches you how to structure your trading system. At the end of that free training, you'll get a link to Mission FX, in which you'll find a link to the Telegram channel. So go and do that. And I will see you guys for the weekly outlook video in I think like 2 days. I'll probably record it on Sunday. Cheers, everyone. You guys have an amazing weekend.